Yeah, I'll react to that, sure.
Feels so short on this new chair. Can I? There we go. Now it looks like I'm tall. It's a comfy chair, but it's not. It doesn't matter. Forces News video. Jesus, get my head in the game. Original link to the video, top of the description, guys. Preemptive like. Jesus, I wasn't ready. My name's Connor, if you're new. Can we just start? British troops deploy into Kosovo. I had to click on this video. What are you talking about?
Vehicles setting off on British Army vehicles setting off on a historic road move. We're in the Balkans, and today, these soldiers are patrolling a new strategically significant route, which has been opened by NATO.
I know that Kosovo has issues with Serbia, and Serbia doesn't acknowledge Kosovo as a separate country. I like to do like country quizzes and try to like name countries and stuff, and Kosovo is an option, and that's usually how I gauge if a country is a country or not. But there are countries like Israel, Palestine, Taiwan, Kosovo, others that I'm sure I'm not thinking of, that like some think of as a country and others don't. I know it's a bit confusing, but I know that there is Kosovo is kind of a breakaway part of Serbia. Am I right? And so I understand why there might be conflict here. I just haven't heard of anyone, allies getting involved. So that's what's
British
surprising.
Army vehicles setting off on a historic road move. We're in the Balkans, and today, these soldiers are patrolling a new strategically significant route, which has been opened by NATO. It's called Corridor 8, and its implementation demonstrates NATO's ability to project force across a region that was not so long ago ravaged by conflict. It's 25 years since the conflict concluded in Kosovo. K4 remains NATO's largest military deployment, and the opening of Corridor 8 is a significant milestone on the journey from that war.
Conflict in the Balkans may seem like old history to many of BFPS viewers and recipients of BFPS's services. But it's also a war that cost almost 150,000 lives. It's also a war in our lifetime, certainly in mine, and it's also a war that is all too easily remembered. And my advice as the Prime Minister's Special Envoy for the region is always to look forwards and not back. And our armed forces who are looking forwards are part of the deterrent force that NATO offers.
Corridor 8 links the Adriatic and Black Seas. It's one of a number of designated routes NATO can use to deploy forces across Europe. But because it stretches from Derez in Albania, pushing northeast to Bulgaria's coast on the Black Sea, Corridor 8 is additionally significant in the context of Russia.
It's about us being able to reach out, act quickly, and be on the ground to have an effect. I was the ambassador in Kosovo last year, so I know that when we're called upon not just to do exercises, but to deploy for real, and our guys are on the ground making a difference, the speed with which we do so really matters.
While NATO activities like this are intended to demonstrate force and a wider commitment to peace in the region, they also allow militaries to come together and train. Right now, UK personnel are engaged.
Okay, but I'm confused with this corridor going through Bulgaria. Is Albania in NATO? I always picture Albania as a sort of wild card, as sort of like a Muslim enclave of former Ottoman territory. Maybe I'm simplifying that too much. But I know Serbia is much more aligned with, say, Russia than other Balkan neighbors. But why is the line going through Bulgaria? Isn't Bulgaria more kind of solidly aligned with, the EU and NATO? They're in the EU, right? I'm not sure if they're in NATO. But this is the confusing part. This part through Bulgaria. to kind of counter Russian influence, and you have Romania up here, which I don't see as a Russian ally. And I would understand a sort of corridor from the Adriatic to the border of Bulgaria and Serbia, but I don't really understand the extension east through Bulgaria to the Black Sea. Does that make sense, guys? If anyone knows something that can clarify my confusion, I'd appreciate. You guys are always great with comments, but no big deal if no one knows really.
Significant in the context of Russia.
It's about us being able to reach out, act quickly, and be on the ground to have an effect. I was the ambassador in Kosovo last year, so I know that when we're called upon, not just to do exercises, but to deploy for real, and our guys are on the ground making a difference, the speed with which we do so really matters.
While NATO activities like this are intended to demonstrate force and a wider commitment to peace in the region, they also allow militaries to come together and train. Right now, UK personnel are engaged in a series of exercises with Albanian troops, testing interoperability.
Since the Albanian was joining NATO,
they are in NATO.
Interoperability.
It is. I'm sorry. I'm stupid. I'm sorry.
Series of exercises with Albanian troops testing interoperability.
Since the Albanian was joining NATO 15 years ago, the Albanian tried to improve all the capacity of the armed forces, and we took place in every exercise, major exercise in NATO. Albanian army and UK, they have cooperated for a long time. But I just want to mention that last 10 years this cooperation was very intensified, but also the cooperation continue in education, which Albania is sending a lot of guys over there in Sanhar. All the guys, they are educated over there, and after this education they took responsibility for the best units that we have in Albania.
The honour of being the first NATO troops to test Corridor 8 goes to the men and women of the 1st Battalion, Royal Yorkshire Regiment. It's these soldiers from Catterick who are making history by conducting the convoy along a chunk of...
Okay, by the way, I am going to watch a video on Albanian history, recent Albanian history, because of how shocked I am about Albanian cooperation and being in NATO for over a decade. I feel kind of stupid for not knowing that. And I am going to learn about this more, so I like when videos I watch lead to an interesting subject that I want to watch later. That's what's happening right here. I'm going to do that after.
These soldiers from Catterick who are making history by conducting the convoy along a chunk of the route. When they reach their destination, though, the battalion takes over responsibilities of providing NATO's strategic reserve in Kosovo.
Troops from the 1st Battalion Royal Yorks have been here for a few days now. We're really enjoying the opportunity to serve and work with NATO. It's the first time for one of our Yorks to have been supporting NATO. The 7th Brigade for Desert Rat, who we're part of, have been supporting NATO for the last few months. But for us, this is the first time we're at readiness, and we're at readiness until May now next year, supporting NATO, and it's a real privilege.
Yeah, so the soldiers are enjoying it. You know, we've had a lot of lads.
Question, guys. Is the large undercarriage?
It's the first time for one of our Yorks to have been supporting NATO. The 7th Brigade for Desert Rat, who
is the large? I noticed that there's a lot of clearance underneath military trucks. Is that for dampening the effect of landmines? Since I'd imagine the closer you are in connection with the explosion, the more damage it's going to do? Or does the armor plating under vehicles take care of that, and it's just so that it can go over more uneven terrain? Does anyone know that? Anyone?
We're part of it being supporting NATO for...
Again, I don't expect an answer to all of my questions, but you guys are always exceeding my expectations with knowing stuff. I almost swore. with knowing stuff that I didn't think anyone would respond with. So I'm just going to toss that out there. Maybe one of you will know it.
To NATO. The 7th Brigade for Desert Rats, who we're part of, have been supporting NATO for the last few months. But for us, this is the first time we're at readiness, and we're at readiness until May now next year, supporting NATO, and it's a real privilege.
Yeah, so the soldiers are enjoying it. You know, we've had a lot of lads that went out to Iraq last year, but there are a lot of new lads that are here as well. They're enjoying just being away, being in an environment they're not used to. It's unusual. Day to day is completely different. Yeah, it shows, you know, our flexibility.
Thank God for these guys.
How we can adapt to different environments. You know, we've just come off Wessex Storm in the UK, soldiery plane. The terrain here, the environment, the weather, everything's completely different. So it just shows the nature of an infantry soldier and how they adapt to overcome.
Well, the very fact that
you guys
NATO
are awesome.
has a force in Kosovo 25 years after the end of the conflict, it's a sad fact that we need that force, but we do need the force to honour the terms of the United Nations Security Council resolution. The UK is proud to commit itself as part of the armed forces to.
Does anyone have a video where I can like see the inside of these trucks?
Solution. The UK
Oh my God, my ADD is going crazy. These have got to be communication switches because I would annoy the hell out of someone who like, if they allowed me to come, I would ask so many questions. Their head would explode and they would shoot me.
The UK is proud to honour the terms of the United Nations Security Council resolution. The UK is proud to commit itself as part of the armed forces to the Kosovo force, along with the excellent work of our embassy and our teams on the ground. And we continue to support and have recognised Kosovo as a nation state.
Another milestone along the road from war, yes, but also another opportunity to show NATO's adversaries the West has the ability to get about this region en masse and with ease. And for the British soldiers deployed here for the next several months, it's an operational tour under their belt, working hand in hand with international partners focused on enduring peace across the Balkans. James Walton, BFBS Forces News, Rhode, Albania. Thanks for watching.
Okay, so a great video as always from this channel. As much as it's not fun to, or, you know, it's not pleasant to think about, you know, you have Israel invading Lebanon in the past few days. You have China eyeing Taiwan. You have, obviously, the North and South Korea conflict. I'm not even going to bring up, there's a lot of conflicts within Africa, but none, I don't think, that could contribute to the escalation to a wider world war. Obviously, you have Ukraine and Russia. So, do you think that like this could be another front of a future war in the next half decade? I'm not trying to be too pessimistic, but I need to learn more about Albania. I need to learn more about Serbia. With learning about them more, I'll be able to understand the Kosovo conflict more and thus be able to answer my own questions I just asked. But I still appreciate you guys telling me those things. Also, although I do not do nearly as much as I should, your comments and, you know, suggestions for other videos, I sometimes do pick. So I'm going to try and find some on my own, but if anyone knows a specific video, that'd be good for me. I'd appreciate that. You guys are always fantastic in the comments. I can't say enough how excited or how blown away I am by your guys' knowledge that a lot of you have. And I'd appreciate any comments as always. Love y'all. I hope you're doing well. If not, mentally. If not, chin up. You'll be good soon. Emotions are fickle, my friends. Great video. See you guys next time. Bye. Keep learning.